What's up, everybody? It's David from Mixed Inputs back at it again, and we're gonna do some story times again because I feel like I like story times and they're fun, and I get to read them and I get to comment on them, and then you get to listen. And I'm playing Overwatch in the background, which I have not played in forever. My girlfriend got me into it, so anyway, we're just gonna get right into it. So these are all Reddit stories. I'll leave the posts and everything in the comments. I did not do that for the last video, but I will be doing it this time. My bad. I have two stories that are from Reddit and actually two stories that are mine. So that'll be fun. Yeah. 4 days ago, my coworker, who's also my friend, fell down the stairs and died in front of me. 4 days ago, I was walking with a coworker on break just to stretch our legs. We work in an office setting, so getting up every once in a while to get some fresh air is nice. We walk in about half a circle around the building, and in the back there are some stairs that we like to go down and then back up on our way just for some exercise. It's 2 sets of 15 steps of concrete. It was a beautiful sunny day with blue skies. Yeah, okay, whatever. Near the top of the stairs, we were in mid-conversation while heading down, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "Oh God," trip and fall somehow. He rolled down and landed at the bottom in a heap, face first in the concrete. I kind of just stared for a few seconds because it was so sudden. I ran to the bottom while asking if he was okay, but he didn't move or respond. I got close and realized there was blood coming from his head and face. His arms, legs were all seized up and stiff when I tried to roll him over. I freaked out but managed to call 911 while also texting another coworker, a friend of mine, to come outside the office because our friend fell. 911 told me to do what I had done, roll him over, and do CPR. The ambulance got there about, man, that's all. I feel like that's most people's reaction, but I don't know if most people know how to do CPR. So I feel like doing CPR, you're just gonna break a couple ribs, you know? I guess it's better than them dying. The ambulance got there about 7 minutes after I called and took him to the hospital, but I'm 99% sure he was already dead when I was doing CPR. I felt really weird about it. Like, sad, but also just strange. It's hard to put into words. It didn't really seem real. I get flashes where I realized what happened and feel an intense tightness in my chest, and the severity of it all hits me. I keep imagining him lying at the bottom of the stairs, face down, with his torn up face while I was giving him CPR. But he was already dead. It's also just really sad because he was one of my best friends at work. I've barely slept since Tuesday and was full of adrenaline for a full day after it happened. He was single with no kids or anything, only had a brother and a father who lived in a different state. I don't really know why I'm writing all this, but I feel really strange and I'm wondering if anyone experienced something like this. I personally have never experienced stuff like this, but I think it kind of just makes you realize how crazy life is. Like, to die from falling down some stairs. Like, think about it like this. If you're walking, like, let's say your house has 2 stories, or I guess a basement. If you're walking down the basement stairs and you just fall, you could just die. Like, there's no, like, I remember one time I was carrying a plate down the stairs and I just like tripped and fell on my, oh, whatever. If I had fallen forward, I could have just died. Like, I could have just hit the bottom of the stairs and just died. Like, that's how crazy it is. And I think, like, especially for it being someone you don't know super well, like, they didn't say if they hung out with them, like, outside of work or anything, but, like, I assume it was just a work friend, like, a coworker, and now you just don't see them. They're just gone. They're just dead. I feel like that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my bad. I guess. So the next story is kind of short. This is my story, but basically, I get paid every Friday at the job that I work, and I was going to the bank to deposit my check like a normal civilian does. And I pull up to the bank. There's 3 lines at the ATM, mind you, and one of the ATM lines was actually closed. So I went to that one first because it was empty, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna go to this one first. Empty, because it was closed. So I get to the kiosk and it's closed, and I'm like, that makes sense. Now, the line for the other 2 is about 3 cars long at this point. Both of them. Like 6 cars in total, technically. But I go around, and by the time that I manage to get back, 2 cars are gone from one line, and the other line is still at 3. So obviously, I'm not going in the 3 line. I'm going in the line with 1 car in it. I'm not sure what like was expected of me, but I'm definitely going in the line with less people in it. So I get into the other line, right? And as I'm going into this line, this red truck tries to go into the line. Now, if I had actually noticed him, I might have let him through, but even then, you are already in that line, just wait. And that oh my gosh. That'll come back in the future, but let's just continue with the basis of the story. I did not see him, and I kept going, and he was trying to turn into the lane. He didn't like hit me or anything, so I kept going, and I stopped before the next car because they were at the kiosk, and he honked his horn. Okay, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. No, 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 no. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you what, he got out of his car and he walked over to my window. And now, bear in mind, I just got off of work, okay? It's 5 o'clock. I just want to go home. I, for some reason, had a pen in my mouth because I signed it thinking I was going to do mobile checking. So I have a pen in my mouth, like I'm eating a pen. And he turns, or not, I turn, and he's knocking on my window. Now, I don't know if anyone has ever, like, looked at someone and just been like, can I help you? But I didn't even roll down my window. He didn't say a single word. He simply knocked on my window, and like I just ignored him. Like I looked at him, I looked back, and I just ignored him. That was yeah. But the next craziest part is that he goes away. Like he gets back in his car, and I was gone before he even got into line, into a line, like into the kiosk, because that person that was in there was doing like the teller, like you know how you can do the ATM or teller. Well, if you don't know, but now you do. Basically, that dude must have been there for like 40 minutes because he was in that line forever. I was like, as I was leaving, he was in that line, and that was probably a good 15 minutes of the person in front of me at the kiosk, and then me at the kiosk. It's just not a fun time. I feel bad for the guy, but also at the same time, don't be mad at me because you tried to cut me off. Like, what? What sense does that make? I thought he was just gonna pull out a gun and shoot me, to be honest. I live in a state where that's like not viable. I feel like most people are gonna pull a gun on me if I like do something bad on the street. Like if I'm driving and someone like, oh, on Thursday, this story was way long ago, but on Thursday, this car like pulls out in front of me and just like swerves around, and I was just like, oh, okay, so I'm dying. And they slow down to meet eyes with me on purpose, and they like apologize, like they wave their hand, they're like, they mouth I'm sorry, and they like motion for me to get in front of them. And I was like, okay, so basically here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get in front of them, they're gonna hit me in the back, and then get out and just start shooting. That's what I felt like it was gonna happen. But I think they were just trying to be nice. And I think the swerving was caused by them trying to absolutely destroy their gas pedal to not make me hit them, because it's like a 50. They turned onto a 50, and I was pretty close to them. It was kind of their fault, to be honest. But, you know, he smiled at me and everything, and he looked like he was going to shoot me. He had no shirt on. His friend was in the car. The car was kind of beat up. I was scared. Not going to lie. I was not ready. So the next story is going to be a Reddit story. So I almost died today by mistake. I don't know how to mentally deal with it. Oh, I almost died today. I got my license 2 weeks ago. I'm a learner driver. What is a learner driver? What is a learner driver? Learner driver. Learner driver is a person who's in the process of learning how to drive a vehicle. Yeah, but why learning driver? I'm learning how to drive. I don't think... Yeah, whatever. I was driving home from school, and there's a railroad crossing in front of my house. When I was at it, I didn't notice the red light, and the moment I crossed it, about 10 meters away, a train just flew by me. I missed it by about half a meter. I don't know, what is a meter to a yard, and like a yard to a foot? A meter to feet. How many feet is this? 3 feet. I don't know, man. That's a lot of feet. I reached my house, kind of paralyzed, and my dad My dad angrily ran out of the house, not believing what happened. How did he know? Was he watching? Was he like in the car, or? No, ran out of the house. I'm not sure. This seems fake. Yeah, I don't know. I then sat in the car for 20 minutes, blaming myself for what had happened. How could I miss something like that? I still have the sight of the train in my head, and I'm in shock. I don't know how to cope with this near-death experience. I'm extremely ashamed of myself. You know, yeah, I could get feeling ashamed of yourself. My thing is, today I almost died. I don't think you almost died, buddy. You would have been obliterated. Like, I feel like almost dying is like, I mean, in terms, he did almost die. He almost literally just got instantly killed. It's like the train picked up an instant kill and just almost drove through you. I mean, that's horrible. That's absolutely diabolical. That train, I feel like it has to like be bad for like train conductors. Like you always think about in those movies, like the person on the train, like the person on the train tracks. What about the conductor? The conductor just sees a living person and they just can't do anything about it. Like even if they stop, they're still just gonna run them over. I feel like that's worse. That's way worse than just dying because that person has to live with it. The dying person is just dead. You know? I mean, there's no Superman or Spider-Man to save them, so they're just cooked. Yeah, that's probably not very fun. No. Okay. Now, this is my greatest, not greatest. This is my story again. This is the fourth story. Basically, on the 4th of July, which if you're not living in the United States is a like firework celebration for the independence of America because we just have to, I don't know. We have to celebrate our founding fathers and the sacrifices they made for the paper they wrote. Yeah, the paper they wrote. Anyway, me and my girlfriend had drove up like 25 minutes away from where I live because there was a firework festival happening in a different county. So we decided to go to the different counties because it probably was going to be bigger, which in reality, having gone to both, I think honestly ours was better. Well, comparatively, it was definitely better because of the story, but had it just been a normal time, it probably would have been better to go to the one that I live next to. Either way, we get to this place and it is packed. There is no parking in the park area. You can't park there. So we went to like a Kroger, which is just a grocery store, about maybe a 10-minute walk away, or maybe an 8-minute walk away. I don't know. But we park. There's a ton of people. Most of the people, honestly, were just that parked in the Kroger were just staying in the Kroger to watch the fireworks, which at the time, in retrospect, probably should have just stayed at the car, like just sitting on top of it, because what happens next is possibly the worst thing ever. But either way, we go like we had this like watermelon blanket that's like waterproof and supposed to like protect you from the ground or the grass or whatever. I don't know why I said protect you, but prevents you from touching the grass and the ground. So we get to the camp, or not the camp, the park, and we kind of like there's like a festival going on, like a carnival, like with rides and everything and like stands and such. And we didn't really want to go into that part, which in retrospect was just luck. But we kind of go quite far away because there's a baseball field like relatively close. So we like march our way, probably a football field away. To be honest, we were very far away to watch the fireworks. And we lay down and we sit down and everything. And I'm not going to lie, me and my girlfriend actually start arguing. I don't remember exactly what we were arguing about, but it kind of prevented us from going into the carnival area because I had initially wanted to go into the carnival area, and had she not been a poo-poo head or I not been a poo-poo head, then we would have gone into the carnival area. But we're there for about 30 minutes, 15 minutes, probably closer to 30 minutes. And like we're just kind of watching and everything, and the fireworks actually start. So about halfway through the fireworks, however, we just see possibly 500 to 600 people start running. Like everyone's just running from the center of the carnival, and we're just like confused. Like we honestly, my initial reaction was to just sit there because yeah, I see everyone running, but what are they running from? I'm not just going to start running because, I don't know, some kid was like, oh my God, start running. And then everyone just started running because they thought something had happened. So we honestly didn't start running until this guy ran past us and was just like, "What are you guys doing? Run, run!" And we were just like, "I mean, okay, I guess." Actually, no, I was not even worried in the slightest bit. I'm not even gonna lie. I was pretty calm in the whole situation. Obviously, you guys don't know the whole situation yet, but I was pretty calm. It was my girlfriend that was freaking out. Like she was wilding out. She was going crazy. So she was like, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go." So we grabbed all our stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I almost tripped trying to get my shoes on because she was rushing me. Even though I guess in terms there was like 600 people are running away from a carnival. That's probably a good reason to start running. I feel like if 7 people started running from the carnival, they're just playing tag, or they're just running from each other. If the entire carnival, I mean the entire festival, starts running from the center, and there's fireworks going off, you don't really know if the fireworks going off or it's a gunshot, the sound and everything, you really got to be, I guess, extra careful about how you deal with a situation that you literally don't know what's going on. So we start running, and we get to the we are running, and kids are crying, and adults are screaming about where are their kids, and people are trying to find their loved ones and everything, and we're just like running because it was just us two. So we're also chafed up my foot, my dunks, my pandas. They absolutely tore my ankle up because I didn't have any socks, and that was just the worst. So we were running. We jumped over a couple of puddles. I'm not gonna lie, my shoes are pretty dirty. That's just an extra little tad bit of information that you guys can have because it's free. And we get to the parking lot where we're parked, okay? And this, I don't know why, but this guy, not walks up to us, but we were walking past him, and he calls over to us, and he's like, "What's going on?" And while we were running, we had actually not learned anything, but we had basically overheard a couple of different things. We heard there was a fight, we heard there was a shooter, we heard there was a bomb. I mean, we just heard all sorts of stories, okay? I mean, we literally heard every single thing that could have possibly happened. At some point, I'm pretty sure I heard some kid say that a monster from one of his games appeared, and I was just like, all right. So I tell him, and I'm like, honestly, I have no idea what's going on. I just assumed that there was a shooter, so I just tell him that. I'm just like, I think there was a guy with a gun, and he was firing. And the guy's like, all right. And he made the sign for an AR too, not a pistol, but an AR, which was kind of crazy to me. I was like, damn, is that just a normal thing around here? We don't do Glocks or M19s. Or sorry, not M19s, 1911s. We simply do ARs. I mean, we're gonna pull out the AK-47 and we're just gonna start blasting. But we get to the car and everything, and we try and leave before things not get hectic, but get trapped, because the police love, and I mean love, to just block people in for hours on end. So yeah, we get into the car, we pull out of the Kroger. We try and pull out of the Kroger, and there's a line, and I'm like, so we're not gonna leave for the next 2 hours. And I was pretty on the dot, but during these 2 hours, the amount of people that we heard scream and run and have fun around us was honestly the worst. We saw one group of kids just running, saying, "Oh my God, he had a gun, he had a gun, he had a gun." And then we see another group of kids running towards the gun, what supposedly would be the gun. And in my opinion, if there's a guy with a gun, probably not a good idea to run towards the gun. I feel like running towards the gun is probably a good way to end up dead. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's probably not the greatest idea. But I mean, they're allowed to do what they want. I'm not allowed to, make any choices for them, that's for sure. But I had to call my mom because obviously I was going to call my mom, if her kid's going to die to a gunshot, I feel like she probably has the right to know. Now that I think about it, though, if I had called her and there was a guy with a gun and he pulled up to the car and just shot both of us, I feel like my mom listening to both me and my girlfriend dying would be not the greatest experience that she probably could have had. That would have been probably pretty devastating, I feel. Obviously, I would have used my kung fu skills, blocked both bullets, and just punched the guy in the throat. I think, if anything, I should probably have been the one to solve the problem. I should have just walked into the middle of the carnival, found the guy with the gun, and then just ninja chopped him in the neck and made him go unconscious, grabbed the gun and emptied it like one of those like James Bond villains, not villains, like movies, where he grabs a gun, he throws the magazine on the ground, he pops the chamber, catches the bullet and like, I don't know, throws it. I feel like that's what I should have done, but or at this point, I probably should have gone to whatever trash can. Yeah. So that's apparently what had happened. Like, I'll tell the real story in a minute of what actually happened, but to most of the people there was an active shooter. There was like a guy with a gun walking around, and like people had died, and like kids had found him, and he was just hiding in the corner or something, like some creepy stalker with a hoodie on. I'm not really sure about that part, but would you rather find the guy with a gun out there in the wild, just being very confident about the gun, or would you rather the guy with a gun be kind of nervous, not really know what he's doing and miss? I feel like I would rather have a non-confident dude with a gun than a confident guy with a gun, because I feel like the confident guy with a gun is not going to miss or like shoot. Like, he's definitely shooting. Like, he there's no way that he's not going to empty a couple bullets into me if I try and get at him. The nervous guy, he might, like, get nervous and look away before he shoots and then, like, shoot at the ground, or shoot at the sky, which, not great, but not at me. So, a win is a win. Either way, basically, about an hour and a half goes by, and we're just hearing sirens, and we're hearing speakers. At one point, one of the cops, I think, said, on a speaker, there's an active shooter, please stay aware. Like, my girlfriend was still freaking out at the time. I was kind of just in the car. I mean, we're in the car. I don't have like bulletproof glass. I'm not a superhero or like a secret agent. But if the glass breaks, I'm getting out of the car and I'm making her run. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just gonna sit in the car. I'm gonna take my keys and we're gone. They're not getting the car, but we're definitely gone. I guess if a bullet came in, they probably are pretty close and we're probably pretty dead. But either way, the moral of the story is that don't go to 4th of July festivals, especially if you don't want to die. That's probably a good thing. Buy your own fireworks, because the real story was like not bad. Like, it wasn't bad at all. Like, the real story is that there was no active shooter. There was a group of people who were fighting, and a guy did pull out a gun. Like, he did show a gun, but nothing really happened. Apparently, it was a series of circumstances where a bunch of kids were fighting. The one dude showed a gun, and then a bunch of fireworks went off, obviously, as there were fireworks in the background, but that wasn't it. A bunch of kids had thrown a bunch of firecrackers into a trash can and made the trash can explode. So the people who were fighting were like, oh God, he's starting to shoot, and just started running, and then telling other people that they should run because there's a gun. The greatest of circumstances? No. But, I mean, it wasn't that bad. We did technically get to see the fireworks. And that was the funniest part. When the fireworks ended, they do that final, like, show off. Like, they do the like, all the pew, 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 that sounds like gunshots, but that's actually fireworks, not guns. Everyone started clapping. Like, we're all stuck in a Kroger because there might be some active shooter shooting people down, like shooting cops right now, and we're all just gonna clap at the fireworks. What are we doing? Like, get in your car and stop. Like, and there was also this dude who's just blasting loud music behind us, and I genuinely wanted to get out and just be like, dude, we're gonna die possibly. Can you not blast your loud, very annoying music, please? Because you understand how absolutely mind-boggling it is that someone's just gonna blast really loud music. And like, the worst problem is that I genuinely was gonna get out and say something because I was heated, and my girlfriend's like, no, don't do that, babe, stop, you're being annoying right now. I was like, I'm being annoying. Look, do you understand what's happening right now? There's a guy who's possibly gonna be able to shoot you and me, and this dude is like, I need to listen to my Barbie music right now. Obviously it wasn't Barbie music, but I just don't understand how you can be in a situation where you're possibly going to die and you're possibly going to lose your life, and like everyone around you, all the people, all the loved ones that you brought with you, they might die, and you're going to blast fucking Big X. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think you're cool, but in reality, you're going to be the first one to get shot because I can guarantee you that whatever white person with an AR-15 decided to come and shoot up the fireworks is going to find you first. You know what I'm like? I feel like this is just not something you should do because it's not a good idea. But I don't know. Maybe I'm the problem here, and I should learn to blast my music whenever I'm in situations where I feel like I'm gonna die. You know, I think that's probably the best thing that I should do. I think in situations where I'm going to be really stressed out from now on, I'm going to buy a JBL speaker and just blast music. And whenever somebody tells me to turn it down, I'm going to turn it up. And if I can't turn it up anymore, I'm just going to get progressively closer to them so that it gets louder. So that it's like I'm turning it up, but really I'm just moving. Whatever. But yeah, that was the experience where I almost died at a 4th of July festival. I guess, sort of, almost died. Clickbait. But, you know, whatever. Clickbait. Blah, blah, blah. Can't even talk. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I guess if you did like it, make sure to hit that like button. Comment if you want to. And I'll see you guys next time. It's been David. Peace. I just want to say that I did win that match. Thank you very much.